Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Live Your Spa Life show. Spa life is a lifestyle that accepts that accomplishment and harmony coexist. The spa and spa life, the SPA, is for seek power always, that power within you to live your powerful life. I am so thrilled to have my special guest and friend, Abby Moneyhun, who is first and foremost a mother. She's also a serial entrepreneur and co-founded several multi-million-dollar companies. Abby, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, girl, you know, you and I could be talking all afternoon because you have just created so many magnificent things in your life and so many levels. What is your favorite project you're working on now?
My favorite project is a new multimedia company. And it's called High Vibe. The actual company name is called 12th House Media, but the app that's being released in that company is called High Vibe TV. And it's basically like a studio, and it's got 6 sets in it where people can come in and record their, whatever show it is, and then it can be live streamed. So it is a very multifaceted media production company. And we just launched it.
Oh, I'm excited about that, to hear more about that. So I know that, you've done a lot of things that have helped, like, environmentally and things in the oil and gas industry. How did you get your start in that?
It is so weird. My ex-husband was a welder, and he used to weld the wellhead on. It's just such a bizarre story, but he ended up, long story short, inventing this product that removed all the emissions from the gas dehydration process. And then from that point on, the company just grew, and he ended up with a team of engineers inventing like 6 other products that remove all the emissions from different processes in the oil and gas industry, like storage of oil or, I won't go into all the technical sides of it, but it's huge because it literally changes the air quality of the planet. And we just launched a new product in that also. It's been in testing like all winter long. We sent out our first product last Friday, and it removes the emissions from the flaring process of oil. And it also, it makes it where they can use the gas that they would typically burn off when they get the oil out of the ground. So
wow.
It's an amazing product. I could go really technical on it, but I know it's kind of boring to hear the technicalities of stuff like that. So I am so excited about it, though, because it's a revolutionary product that typically they have to just burn that gas because there was no real cost-effective way to be able to extract it. And so now what's going to happen is they're going to be able to extract it and actually use the natural gas. It's like $300,000 a month of natural gas that's burned on every single location.
Wow.
So it's huge. I mean, it's a huge benefit to the environment. Because all that pollution that comes out in the carbon, right?
Right. Well,
But it's also huge for the oil and gas companies.
Right.
To be able to have that savings of the gas.
Right. Well, I want to thank you just for myself on behalf of our listeners. I know that you've put a lot of hours and years and time into your products, and that has just had a direct impact on the planet. And so I love all the things that you have. You are such the epitome of beauty and brains. I mean, people come to you. I mean, people come to you for your leadership skills and your brainstorming skills. And, you've done a lot in philanthropy, and, you've even been like on the People magazine, right? You were like the most beautiful woman edition for the natural 44-year-old in the 2012. I love that about you, that you really embrace all the different aspects of yourself. And I just find that fascinating. I think that's something that, the women in our show can really embrace, is that you can really look at all the different aspects of yourself and have that be an expression. It's not either or.
It's, thank you for that. What I realized one day was that it's all energy. Like every single facet of my life had been energy. Like with the oil and the gas, it was energy. And it's like it evolved into the feelings, of just being a human, like all the human aspects. And I really tie all of those things into energy at this point, because it's what makes all of us tick.
absolutely. And, you know, it's funny, you take the energy in the world and you also tap into the energy of really helping other people. So you're, you know, certified Reiki master, and you really help people with their own energies as a, you know, numerologist, a galactic code reader. I mean, I've been the benefit of some of your insights, and I love of what you do in that realm. Do they interweave with each other?
I think they do.
I think so too.
I think that, well, like in my galactic code, it's planetary. So it makes a lot of sense that I've been involved in these planetary projects, but then why I'm concerned about the human being also. And I feel like every single human has, that they do have a code, and that they have a, you know, like a superpower that they really need to be learning how to tap into just to feel more comfortable in this human experience. And that's why, you know, like when we have conversations or in conversing with anybody, like when you look at their numerology and their galactic code, there's like this energetic, like center point that once you can find out exactly what that is, you can see the holdbacks in life. You can see where you've energetically not had like a belief system in yourself in a certain aspect. It tells all the clues that you need in order to just to live a fulfilled and happy, purposeful life. It's just tapping like into the rhythms, you know, like of the earth and the sun and the moon and the stars. I just believe it's all like this giant flow of energy.
Right, right. Well, you know, just kind of piggybacking on that, you know, I know that you utilize the astrological day so that you have the most impact. And I find this so fascinating. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about the natural cycles of the planets and moons and how you utilize that each day, like Monday and Tuesday and each of the days of the week actually have intentional about how you're using that energy.
Right. So it's what I do in my phone. I wish I could just like turn it around and show you, but like in my calendar, what I do is for each day, I have what the topic of that day should be. And I apologize for the noise that's in here. I've got some plumbers that are in here working.
We can't hear it.
If they're knocking around or anything, they're coming in and out the door. That's why I say something. So what I do in my phone is I know that I'm going to start out Monday as it's the moon day. And so it was the time that you would have meditation and like quiet time, which is so different from how we typically start off a work week.
Right.
You know, and in this code that I've been using, Monday isn't even the starting point of the week. Sunday is, which is kind of interesting because it's sun. And it was the day that was to illuminate all of the things that you would enjoy in your life. So it's a time that you spend with family. It would be the time that you garden. It would be the time that you would just relax and rest and enjoy the sun and like soak everything up. And then that would get you in preparation for the moon day, where you could also have just your really major quiet time to get prepared to go full force on Tuesday. And Tuesday was Mars. And so that was the day that was, it's an aggressive planet, and it's like the driving force. And so that would be the day to start like all new tasks, you know. And
now, is that the same for each week? So like
it is every single week.
So that's helpful for planning.
It is. And it's, if you want to look it up, there's a thing, I mean, just look up astrological meaning of the days of the week. And you'll be able to find it. But Wednesday was Mercury, and Mercury is the one that is the messenger of the heavens. And so that's the day that I communicate. That's the day that I have my podcast. And I didn't say that about my projects earlier. That inflowradio.com is a podcast that I've been doing. I've got 14 episodes on there right now that just discuss all things human. But Wednesday is my day for that, just because it was the messenger, the day of communication. And
now, it seems like, before you go on to that, a lot of times with Mercury, it seems like anytime Mercury comes up, people are talking about in terms of Mercury retrograde. How does that come into play?
It's retrograde. Let me get a drink real quick.
Okay, me too. Okay, everybody hydrate.
I know, right? Mercury, when it goes retrograde, it's just time to go introspective and to observe everything. And you can see where things are, like cluttered in your life, or where you need to, make adjustments. That's why they say it's not a real good time to do contracts, or to, unless you're looking at it with a real fine tooth comb. But then when it goes forward again, then it means that you can kick back into action and, just like hit it. I'm not an astrologer, so I don't know all of these, like everything about the astrology side. But what I found fascinating is that the rhythms of the days of the week being named after the planets helps us to actually utilize the power of that day through just tapping into what the day was named after.
I love that because, rituals and patterns and things really help people, have some predictability and, allow them to go, well, what should I be focusing on? And what's so great is I'm sure that, I'm just thinking about how the flow of my different days go, and I really take off more on Tuesday. So it's really interesting that, so many things are set for Monday, but to just kind of go, how do we actually feel in those days? Sometimes we don't stop and ask ourselves that. So I find this fascinating.
It's so awesome because, this is without going with the planets that go with it, or I could just tell you the planet, and one word with it.
Right.
So if you were to look at it, that Monday is really the day to relax. Sunday's a day to relax, but to do your grocery shopping, do your gardening, do your family stuff. Monday is a day to just meditate. Like first thing in the morning, make sure that you meditate and get really clear on where your life sits. Like if you can just do that before you go to work, because a lot of people still have to go to work on Mondays. But it's like if you can focus on meditating first thing in the morning, it helps. Tuesday's the day to start the task and just like really make your lists. You're supported by the universe because you've got Mars, behind the power of the day, which is so aggressive, right? Wednesday is the day to communicate. Like any phone call that you have to make, anything that you thought was going to be uncomfortable to handle in a communication, if you can do it on Wednesdays, for some reason, it just helps. Thursday is the day I pay my bills because it's guided by Jupiter. And then Friday is like, it's all about spa. Like if you want to make a spa appointment, there's something about doing it on a Friday that sets the tone then again for Saturday. And then Saturday is, because Friday is Venus, so it's about loving yourself, pouring attention into your own core. And then Saturday is Saturn, and it's a taskmaster too. I gotta remember like what my one word that I use for Saturday. It's prep for the week ahead. So it's kind of different.
That's fun.
Like a typical week, but it's like when I just put that for the beginning thing, it's an all-day task in my calendar. So it'll say prep for the week ahead. Right. And then it's a reminder first thing in the morning to get into the rhythm of the universe.
I'm going to add that in. I love that a lot because I love when you have, intentionality, like, and I love how you don't really have to dive so much into all the details about it, but just having that one word focus to go, what is your intention of the day? Because once you have your intention, you can step into that and, have it manifest.
Yes. I've noticed a huge difference. The other thing I do is I'm really into the 13 moon calendar. And I don't know if you've ever looked at that, but it's like without a calendar at all, you can go out and you can see whether it's a full moon, half moon, new moon. And the way that the Mayans used to do time, it wasn't based on this 12-month cycle that we live in. It was based in new moon to new moon. And it had time to do that 13 times as the Earth was going in what it appeared to be an orbit around the sun. But that calendar went based on the sun's orbit around the center of our galaxy, the center of the Milky Way. And there's something about realizing that every single month, the new moon comes, and then the full moon comes. Every single day, the sun comes up, the sun goes down. there's something about tapping into these rhythms.
Yeah, I'm feeling the flow of that.
Right? It's like you can see that by tapping into the rhythm of the earth, you get to relax a little bit, because no matter what happens, it's still going to be the full moon in 28 days, 29 days, right? It's still going to be a communication day on Wednesday. It's still going to be, paying my bills on Thursday. You get the point of it. It's like all the big things don't seem so big when you tap into the big picture.
Right. This is such a timely conversation because, there's so much busyness in the world that people feel compelled through being overwhelmed and anxious, and to have these kind of tools to really give you something to have that intention on, to be able to let go of the things that aren't, serving you. And so many times people live each day in default, like they just let things happen. So I love the conversation around designing their day. And I know that you create time for yourself first thing in the day. So tell us a little bit about that.
I used to be this person that would get up and the very first thing would check my emails. And so it seemed like the tone of my day was, it was set immediately by the emails that had come in, rather than waking up and just having for me, I personally set 2 hours aside. And if I have to be up and doing something, it's like I want to get up and have 2 hours of quiet before I even get in the shower. And that 2 hours of quiet could even be while I'm still laying in my bed. But it's like before any other influence in the world touches me, I want to be able to tap into my own self. And there's something about that calmness where it's like you can just breathe and be so grateful that you woke up in the morning. Whatever it is that you love, looking at. For me, I leave my windows open so I can see this mountain behind me. And there's something about giving yourself that very precious little cocoon, to just really wake up with that revitalizing feeling. Then you can do anything in the day, because you know who you are. It's not dependent on the emails that you got. It's like then when the emails come in, they're not that big of a deal, because you've got you tapped into these rhythms.
Right. So great. Now, I know you also like to make sure you have playtime. What's that look like?
Yes. Well, I just think for me, it's like having fun with my friends. I mean, first and foremost, because I have spent so much time at work and alone, because I would sit alone at my desk a lot when I was really focusing on stuff. And for me, to be able to schedule play dates with my girlfriends, it's like we will go, because I think it's really important for women to have really great girlfriends. And I don't mean lovers. I mean, you can do that too if you want. I'm talking about
your sisters that have your back.
Yeah. I saw a thing one time that said it would add 15 years to your life, and it wasn't diet or exercise. And it was having a good girlfriend if you're a woman, because you can talk to them about whatever's going on in your world and they understand. And so me and my friends, we get together, I would say 3 to 5 times a week. And we make dinner together. We get in the hot tub. We go for walks. We go downtown. I mean, and it's different friends all the time, but it's like I find that I am really focused on friendship right now. That's my biggest form of play. And being out in nature, I just got into hiking.
Oh, I love hiking.
I was never a hiker. I'm a tourist. And it's like, when is the last time you saw a cow out frolicking up a mountain? So it's in a step out of the box for me, but it's like, there's something about walking up in the woods back here, and I know you can walk anywhere, but it's like just being outside and realizing that there is so much that's going on in the air. And the little ants, the earth below. It just helps give perspective on where human life is.
Yeah, I totally agree. And circle back around and you're talking about with friendship is that this is so important because, a lot of our listeners are entrepreneurs that work out of their home and they have that sense of isolation, right? They're in front of their computer or they're on the phone and, there's less and less communication, even with like on Facebook, you're not really with people.
Mm-hmm.
So, the more you can actually create being with people, they say that, your happiness level goes up. You're actually they're accountable because they know what you're up to. So they're kind of keeping you accountable to like some of your goals that you have. And just the laughter and happiness level goes up so much higher when you're actually with people. And it's funny because it seems to be like less and less time that people are creating that. So I love that you're bringing that to the forefront because, I'm really actively do that as well. In fact, I've got some girlfriends coming over tomorrow night. It's like really making that a priority and not letting that, because that can be the first thing that comes off like, oh, I'm so busy, I can't do that part. But actually making that a priority, I think is so important.
It is. It's really easy to get lost in a computer.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I've seen little drawings before of, there was like the picture of the caveman and then he became upright and then he turns into the computer.
Oh, no.
But it kind of feels like that. I know, right? Because it's like so many of us, it's like constantly checking our phone.
Right.
All our work is done on the computer. Yeah. And it's really easy to like become lost in it.
Right. That's something I've had to, check myself on as well, because, I love the connection, even though it's not like in-person connection, I do love the connection that the computer allows us to have. And I'm like you, where I like to research things and I like to see what's happening, and that, but I have really found that my sense of less anxiety and overwhelm happens the more time I spend away from the computer. And so I'm actually setting as part of my schedule of like, this is the time I'm waking up and this is when my day actually ends, but to give myself that grace period in between where it's not around electronics. And I'm, it's not a perfect thing for me, but it's definitely an intention that I have around that. And I know that you also do some meditation before sleep as a way to move yourself into a restful place. What's your practice around that?
There's, I don't know if you've ever heard Patricia Walden or Rodney Yee. They have the AM and PM yoga.
Oh, yes.
And that's it's a lifesaver. When I was working especially, it's like I couldn't really miss a day of it because it was a good way to wake up in the morning just by stretching out your body. It's really short, like 20 minutes. It's something you can do right at the side of your bed when you wake up. And then at night, it's like
an app, or how do you use it?
There's I had CDs. I was like archaic, and I know that there was, they had these videos on Gaia, and I don't know what's going on with Gaia right now, but they did have them up on that app.
Okay.
But you can probably go to at Gaia.com, and they have them still on DVD if you're into the archaic stuff. But the important thing is to give yourself like a wake up in the morning where it's calm and where you're centered into you. And then at night, to be sure to have that time just to like, here's what I do that is the most important lifesaver I've ever seen. I close my eyes and I visualize that I'm going down in behind my own eyes. Like, and this feels really weird. Like when you very first do it, if you close your eyes, because every single thing that you see with your eyes is external, it's worldly. But the spiritual side is when you close your eyes and it's what's in your head, like between your ears.
We forget that.
Yeah. And we think that it's about that outer world, but it's like at night when you actually close your eyes and you're not even seeing what's out there, you're seeing like in your own core, like you can travel down inside it.
Right.
And you can feel what it's like to be in this cozy little house. Like we have this beautiful little home right here, in our body. And so it's like if we can tuck ourselves into that space, there is something that is it's soothing, like after a long day. And I'm going to say one other thing that was a lifesaver.
Please.
When I was working, like 20 hours a day is what it felt like, before I got a grip and was like, I'm killing myself with stress. Take a lunch break. I don't care if it's 10 minutes and you're eating, but make sure that you take a break from your desk. Don't look at your computer screen while you're eating, and just like really nourish yourself with the food that you're eating. Set a timer on your phone for every single hour that you're only going to take 3 minutes just to focus on breathing. Like get the air all the way down into your diaphragm, because what happens is we sit at our desk and we shallow breathe. We take a breath in, we let it out, and then we hold.
Right.
And especially when we're stressed. And a human body needs oxygen.
Right.
So it's like if you set that timer, it's just a reminder to like plant back into this human body and realize you're okay because you're breathing.
Right.
And then it helps to get through the stress of the next hour.
Yeah.
But it's just like little hour by little hour, you make it through it.
Right.
And it helps you be really present.
Mm-hmm.
In your day.
I just learned, I was just at a talk yesterday with John Assaraf,
Mm-hmm.
where he, a brain expert, and he was just talking about with breathing, one of the things that they have found that is really supportive in breathing is to breathe in through your nose, but then to breathe out like you're breathing out through a straw. So it'd be like pursing your lips like with a straw. And there's something about focusing the air to do it 3 to 6 times that dramatically reduces the overwhelm and the anxiety that happens. So right along with the whole breath, but that was the first time I'd heard about specifically breathing in that way.
Do you know what I think it is? Well,
what?
I don't know for a fact, but our brain is like this computer for our body. And there's something about focusing on the breath that's putting the mind to work at the job that it really has. And so for some reason, when we stop and let the mind actually do its job,
right,
and focus on that, we feel calm, because it's not thinking about the bills or what I've got to do in 5 minutes. It's focusing on what you're doing. So I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned, like in Galactic Code of Numerology, is that if you can put your brain to work, carrying out the functions of the body, like picking up the glass, making sure you eat right, making sure that all the mechanics of the body are taken care of,
right,
then you can actually live from that soul space.
Absolutely.
Like what you're really here to do. And your soul space knows what you're doing.
Definitely.
So there's no jitter at that point.
Right.
Because they're not fighting against each other. It's like they've become best buddies. And the brain knows that it's just going to do its job.
Right.
And breathe.
People put so much more to help, their car run smoothly, but to actually have this body, run in a way that it actually supports us is so huge.
Right.
It's so crazy. But I love the intentionality that you live in your life. And one of the things I love to ask my guests is, our home is so intentional. And you and I have had a lot of conversations about, you moving to different homes and changing things in your home. And, we have different intentions of how we are in our bedroom versus our office and the kitchen. What's your favorite room in your current home and why?
My gosh. I don't know that I have a favorite. I feel like my whole entire house, like I am just in bliss in whichever room I'm in, because I feel like my entire home is such a representation of like who I am. And I feel like every single piece of it has a specific function.
Right.
So when I'm in the kitchen, it's like I'm really in that nurturing aspect. When I'm in my, my meditation chairs and stuff, I'm really in that aspect. When I'm in my bed is probably my coziest spot. If I were to pick some place, it would be my bed.
Right.
And I put every penny that I can into my bed, into the sheets, into making sure that the mattress is great, because we spend so much time there. It's actually like our body kind of shuts down into this little pod in our sleep time. So it's like, make it the coziest little spot you can.
Absolutely. I love my bedroom too.
I
think my bathroom.
It's hard to pick a favorite. I know, right? My bathtub. My closet. I love my closet.
I know you can just go on all these things that we love. I mean, because we put so much intention into the spaces that we have that, but it's kind of nice to see like where people are with that. So it's just fun.
That is, it's interesting because they do say that it represents a certain body part, right?
Yeah.
Like every area of your home.
Right. Absolutely. So, well, I know that people are going to want to stay in connection with you, and you actually have your free meditation. So how can people get a hold of that?
If they go to abbymoneyhun.com, it's ABBY money, HUN.com.
Perfect.
And there they can just log in, and there's like 4, I think, free meditations there.
Perfect. And we'll put that in the show notes as well. So people will be able to get that because, some people will be, driving and all that to get to it. So that will be great. And then how can I best stay in contact with you?
I would say my Facebook page, and I've got one, just my personal page is called Abby Parker Moneyhun. And then there's one called the Abby Moneyhun Show. And that's more the podcast page, but I'm going to be releasing more information on there in how to stay in touch with all this new media stuff, because it's really, that stuff is going to be amazing. I cannot wait to get that fully launched, but all the details will be there. Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
Oh, I love that.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for your time and your insights. And I just love the intentionality. You are just like the poster woman for spa life. And, you have such a high level of accomplishment, and you do it with such grace and harmony. And it's one of the things I just love about you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on here. It was fun.
Oh, you got it. My pleasure. So listeners, I know that you may be, tuning in and wondering like, what is this conversation around spa life, and, how you can step into having more of that and some of the things that Abby and I have been talking about. And one of the ways that you can do that is by taking my quiz at the liferesetquiz.com. That's liferesetquiz.com. And it only takes a couple minutes to do that. And you can see the different areas of your life that are working for you and some areas that you may be needing some support. And then as always, because we are posted, in Facebook and YouTube and a lot of different areas, to please look at this as just being the start of the conversation, and to go and put into the comments any further questions you have. I mean, it's so fascinating the things that Abby's been about. Make sure that you tag both her and I in any questions that you have, any support or ways that you'd want to connect with both of us. We'd love to help you and support you and have you continue to be part of our community. So I just want to thank you, listeners, for being here with us. And until we connect again, live your spa life. Bye for now.
Bye.